Ladies and gentlemen, what's poppin'? What's poppin'? What's poppin'? What's poppin'? It is almost time for the Kingpin boxing tournament to commence. And I'm here to make my picks on this quarter-final round for the men's tournament. This is the coolest thing maybe that's ever happened in influencer boxing. I didn't realize how hyped up I was going to be about it, but this whole fight week, the production value has been amazing. The amount of content we're getting out of this, Kingpin really had planned carefully and put this together. You've almost heard no word of the Misfits card that's supposed to be taking place tonight. You've almost heard nothing about it. And on a week in boxing where Tank Davis is fighting Ryan Garcia, we're still hearing about the Kingpin tournament. Like, that should tell you something right there and then. The way they've done the, Road to Kingpin tournament videos, the way they've done the round table videos, the face-to-face, the way the press conference was laid out, all of it has just been amazing content. And I really think that they put a lot into this. And then they do the wild card fight with Blueface and Ed Matthews. Just a massive amount of content. And I think they're doing a terrific job so far. And I can't wait for the fights to take place tomorrow night. So let's get into it. Without further ado, I'm going to start with the fight that is not a part of the tournament. The wild card fight of the evening. Blueface Baby versus Ed Matthews. The only thing I really know about Ed Matthews is that he knocked out Simple Simon, which is like a 50-plus-year-old man with the cringiest rap video of all time, and I think he's popular on TikTok. I know his daughter got slapped up by Astrid Wet too on Misfits. One of the most embarrassing fights I ever seen. But every Astrid Wet fight's like one of the most embarrassing fights I ever seen. They kind of just do this in the middle of the ring until somebody starts backing up from too much of this. It's a weird thing, women's influencer boxing, which is why I don't really care about the Kingpin tournament for women. But maybe this tournament will showcase some actually technically sound fighters out of the women, which I would love to see, and I obviously welcome. Anyway. He knocked out Simple Simon in the first round. Simple Simon came out fighting like he was Astrid Wet, just kind of ran towards him like this. I don't know if you guys could heard my footsteps, but yeah, he was just like running at him and got knocked out. The funniest thing ever has been the exchanges between Ed Matthews and Blueface thus far. I actually think that the press conference between Blueface and Ed Matthews might have been the most one-sided beatdown of a press conference I've ever seen in my life. Blueface absolutely massacred this man on the mic so bad that he actually had Ed Matthews admitting to taking steroids. Like, absolutely brutalized him on the mic. Blueface is hilarious. Blueface gets it. He's there to entertain. He fights good. I like the way he fights. His training looks great. His open workout looked great. His last fight in Bare Knuckle FC looked pretty cool. He's a long, rangy, technical dude. I'm pretty sure them straight punches are going to come from a mile away, and they're probably going to crack Ed Matthews. But Ed Matthews is more so like a tank, a muscle ball. I mean, he admitted to taking steroids, so you already know what that is. He's going to come out swinging, reckless, little to no technique, but very dangerous at that because when you're wearing 12-ounce gloves, 10-ounce gloves, whatever, I think they're wearing 10s, you could always knock somebody out if you're a powerful hard hitter. So, I think that fight I'm going to say Blueface wins by stoppage in a later round. I don't know how many rounds these fights are. Even for the tournament, I'm not too sure. I probably should have did some homework. But I'm hoping they're 6. Let me find out right here on the video, guys, so that I don't just base this off of hypotheticals. Let's see. Kingpin boxing rounds. How many rounds? How many rounds? Blah, 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 blah. OVO Arena. How many rounds? Come on, hurry up, or else I'm going to have to wing it. Blah, blah, blah. Come on, give me the rounds. Wow. Alright, so there's no rounds on here. If you guys know the rounds, comment it. Let me know how many rounds it is. But anyway, I got Blueface winning by stoppage. I don't think it's going to be like an out-cold highlight reel knockout, but I think he'll have Ed Matthews stumbling around and maybe put him on the canvas once or twice and just have it looking real bad to where the ref's going to stop in and wave it off. Blueface, baby. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Anyway. Now on to the tournament, the fight that I could literally care less about. Whindersson Nunes versus the guy that Whindersson Nunes is fighting, because I don't even know his name. Don't really care. Have never heard of either of these guys. Don't know how either of them box. From what I understand, Whindersson Nunes is a massive celebrity in Brazil. So I'm going to pick him just off that and wanting to keep the star power in the tournament. Now let's move on to the fights that I care about. First, out of the 3 remaining fights, I'm going to go to my mate Nate versus King Kenny. I think that Kenny is one of the most massively overrated, pompous, cocky guys in the scene. I'm really not a huge fan of Kenny. I don't like the way him and his brother portray him as like some kind of force when he's literally 1-3. And his only win came against absolute scrub, Donkey Kong Money. He lost to Temper convincingly. He lost to Sensei convincingly. And then he lost to Ashley Rock-Soo. Like, how, bud? Like, you're terrible. I've been saying it since before he fought Rock-Soo, that he's terrible. But he's more of like a technical fighter. I guess you can call him a technical fighter. Really, he just stands there with his stance and doesn't really do much. From what I've seen of my mate Nate, which hasn't been much, admittedly, he seems like more of a technical-based fighter as well. I'm going to say that King Kenny wins this fight because my mate Nate has never been in an actual fight with no head guards and, you know, a minute in between each round and like 10-ounce gloves. And I think Kenny's been in there with some good guys, Temper, Sensei alike. So I think Kenny's going to be focused, especially coming off yet another loss. And I think that my mate Nate is in for a bit of a surprise. I think Kenny has the easiest run to the finals of this tournament, so I can't wait for him to somehow make the finals and then, act like he did something there too, even though he's probably going to have 2 layup wins. But yeah, go ahead, King Kenny. I don't want to sound like I'm hating him. I'm not hating him. I just hate the way he acts. He said he could knock out KSI. Like, dude, you're not knocking out KSI if you can't beat the 2018 version of KSI and Ashley Rock-Soo. So, yeah, I got Kenny winning that fight by decision. I think Nate will put on a good showing of himself, but I don't think it'll be enough. So I'm going King Kenny by decision. Next fight is Jarvis versus Tom Zanetti. I'm just going to say this flat out. This is like the main thing I've taken out of this week. The main thing I've taken out of this week is that Tom Zanetti is hands down the most entertaining influencer boxer of all time. Period. Of all time. He's hilarious. He's intense. He tries to really get his opponent going. He did the same thing against Slim, getting in his face, intense, throwing verbal jabs at him, making the whole thing exciting. And he fought exciting too last time, and he fought like a dog. But what I'm saying is, on the mic, this guy is great. He's gold. We need to keep him around in this scene regardless, win or lose. His face-to-face with Jarvis was absolutely immaculate. Jarvis wasn't really giving him much to build off of, but he was building off it. And he made me want to watch that fight more than Gib Austin. I'm more excited for this fight than I am Gib Austin now, because Tom Zanetti is that good at just making you want to see what happens after all the verbal altercations. Jarvis had a spar with Floyd Mayweather, looked pretty good in there. Like, a lot of guys think, like, oh, if I went in there with Floyd, I'd at least have a chance. No, there is no chance. If you know the levels of boxing, you have no chance to do any damage to Floyd if you have not been boxing for 20 years since you were a little boy at an elite level, and you literally are one of the best in the world, and you hope Floyd maybe has the flu that day. Otherwise, you have it's not a puncher's chance. You have no chance. But Jarvis stayed composed in that fight, well, in that spar. Definitely a spar, not a fight. Floyd was playing with him. He didn't buy into the game. He was just trying to stay technical, and it looked like he was trying to learn his way and take things from that spar, and I hope that he did that. He's been in camp for a long time. His last fight a few years ago, he got a brutal knockout. So I expect him to perform well. Tom Zanetti is the naturally bigger guy. I think he's the biggest guy in the tournament. So how do I see this one going? I'm going to say Tom Zanetti wins by decision. Yup, I'm going Zanetti. I think that the guy is naturally somebody who's a fighter, and he has a great chin. I think that his size is going to come into play. I think he's going to be able to wear out Jarvis, make him a little tired, and I think Tom Zanetti actually gets the win in this fight by decision. Moving on to the main event of the evening, the grudge match, the rematch, redemption. Austin McBroom's trying to get redemption on the guy that got redemption on him. So, Austin McBroom at the weigh-in looked in better shape than he has for either of his previous fights. Austin was clearly very, very tired in the Gibb fight. I do not buy the whole thing that he was super, super sick, because if you recall, he had said something before about how he was really tired in the Bryce Hall fight. So I'm thinking that he probably just doesn't have that great a cardio, or at least he didn't. Maybe he had worked on it for this redemption fight. But I'm hoping to see a better version of Austin McBroom, a longer-lasting version of Austin McBroom, because he does have natural talent. He does have a good skill set, and I would like to see him be able to extend himself a little bit further into the trenches. And I think he's really going to have willpower in this fight. He's not going to want to lose to Anesongib again. If it was anybody else, maybe he'd just fold, but he can't fold this time. Trust me, guys, I know what it's like to have lost a fight and want to come back and win that thing. So, kudos to Austin for even stepping into the ring and making himself vulnerable. So, but as far as Gibb goes, Gibb is shredded right now. It seems like all Gibb's done since the Jake Paul fight is just box. He barely does influencer stuff at all. And if he does, it's content about him boxing. He is a full-time boxer. That is what he's dedicated his life to. You can tell through his diet. You can tell through his face. He has a very healthy, very in shape kind of facial structure right now. Gibb looks to be in the best shape he's ever been in. He looks to be completely healthy, completely focused on winning this tournament, and it's going to take a Herculean effort from Austin McBroom I almost said Austin Reeves. Go Lakers, baby. Austin McBroom is going to have to give a Herculean effort to take out Anesongib. I think it's going to be a closer fight. I still think that early in the fight, you're going to see Austin take control of the fight. I think that when they're both fresh, Austin is snappier. Austin has better movements. He's just a better athlete. But fighting's not about who the better athlete is. It's about who the better fighter is. When you get tired, which is almost inevitable in any combat sports scenario, you're going to get tired. When you get tired, when you're getting hit, when you're getting rocked, because now something we've learned about Gibb recently that we didn't know before is he has power. He's not just a volume guy. He's not just a grinder. He has power in his hands. Look at his open workout. He was smashing them pads. What I'm thinking is Gibb is going to win this fight. And again, I'm going to have to say by decision. I think he's going to put Austin on the canvas. Maybe multiple times, but at least once. I think Austin's going to will his way to that final bell. I think Austin's going to win the first round, but I think Gibb's going to win most rounds after that. Maybe Austin will get the second round too. I don't know how many rounds it is. I hope it's at least 6. Like, the 4-round main events is really a pet peeve of mine, guys. But, yeah. I got Gib by decision. I think that he is going to take over around like the 30 to 40% through the fight and take over the rest of the 60-70% of the fight, and probably put it on Austin pretty bad. But I think Austin's going to have that will and refuse to quit and try to stay in there and find a way. I just don't think it's going to be enough. Gib by decision. So I got Kenny by decision. I got Tom Aspinall. I got Tom Zanetti by decision. I got Gib by decision. I got Whindersson Nunes by who knows. And I got Blueface by stoppage. Let me know in the comments what you guys think is going to happen in the first round. Who you guys think is going to win the tournament. Are you guys excited for this tournament? If so, let me know. Hit the subscribe button, guys. We got to keep the momentum rolling because it's kind of been halting lately, and I don't really like it. So let's keep the momentum going. And, of course, hit the like button as well. And, as always, I love y'all.